Here we are going to demonstrate what it means to factorize an expression. Factorization basically involves placing into brackets and factoring out the highest common factor and placing into the brackets the quotient that was left after the highest common factor was factored out, was divided out. So your final answer must have brackets with the highest common factor outside of the bracket, and within the bracket, what is left is the quotient after the highest common factor was divided out. So first and foremost, we need to identify the highest common factor between the terms. In this example, we've got two terms. So let's deal with the first term. Let's expand it out so that we can, let's expand it out into its factors. Okay, because we want to find the highest common factor. So 15 now is basically 3 times 5. Okay. We don't normally use 1 because 1 is common to all factors. We want the highest common factor. So let's start with this 3 times 5. So 15 is factored out into its factors, well, broken up into its factors, 3 5s. And let's break up x to the 3 into its factors. The factors of x to the 3 is x times x times x. Okay. 3 x's must be present. Likewise, the factors of y to the 5, y must appear 5 times. So that's 1y, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have expanded out this term into its factors. Let's do the same with 20x to the 6, y to the 4. So 20 can be broken up into 2 times 2 times 5. 2 to the 4, 4 5s are 20. And similarly, x to the 3 into its factors. X, the letter x must appear 3 times. So that's 1, 2, 3. Times y to the 4. The letter y must appear 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, what we need to do is to identify the highest common factor between those two expanded expressions. So when we look at the numbers, what are we mentioning twice? We have 3 and 5, okay? We have 2, 2, and 5. So we're mentioning 5 twice. So 5 is the highest common factor. Let's do the same for the x's. 1, 2, 3 x's. 1, 2, 3. No, that's 6. Okay, that's 6, sorry. I'm missing 3 more x's there for this one because it's x to the 6 we were expanding. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Okay. And verify for the y. Y must appear 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the one above. Okay. Now, again, 1, 2, 3 x's. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. You notice I paused on 3 because we are mentioning 3 twice. So therefore now, between the x's, x times x times x 3 times is the highest common factor. Let's do the same for the y. Here, in this expression above here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 was mentioned twice. So therefore, no. y times y times y times y is the highest common factor, which can be simplified to 5x, x times x times x, applying the rule of indices, we add the powers because this is x to the 1, 1 plus 1 is 3, this is x raised to the 3. And the y times y times y times y, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So this is the highest common factor. This is what comes outside of the bracket. Now, what comes inside of the bracket now? We have to divide this out, divide that out from each expression to know what comes inside of the bracket. We have to divide out the highest common factor. When we divide out 5, we are dealing with the first expression here. When we divide out 5, we are left with 3. And when we divide out the x times x times x, extract it out. They are all extracted. And when we divide out 1, 2, 3, 4, we are going to divide out 4 y's. We are left with 3 times y, which is 3y. So this has to come in the bracket. Remember, this is outside of the bracket. This is the highest common factor. This is the quotient of that first term after being divided by this high common factor. So it must come in the bracket. This is outside. This is one of them inside. The other one inside now. This one here, let us simplify this. Let us divide out the highest common factor from this to know what is the quotient that's going to be left. To put in the bracket. So when we divide out 5, what are we left? 2 times 2. When we divide out x to the 3, okay, 3x's, let's divide out 3x's from this. We are left with 3x's. And when we divide out 1, 2, 3, 4 y's, 1, 2, 3, 4 y, no y is left. Let's simplify this to the 4. 4x raised to the 3. So this also must come in the bracket. Minimize this a little bit so that everything can appear here. So this 5x to the 3y to the 4 is the coefficient that must come here outside of the bracket. And inside of this pair of brackets, we have 3y plus 4x cubed. And this is the final answer. And just to summarize this, between 15 and 20, 5 is the highest common factor. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Between x cubed and y5, x cubed y to the 4, what is the highest common factor? X cubed y to the 4. When it was divided out, the x cubed cancels out and we are left with 5 minus 4, 1 for the y to the 1. And when x to the 6, y to the 4 was divided by x to the 3, y to the 4, 6 minus 3 is 3. So that's why we have x to the 3. And the 4 minus 4 is 0. Y to the 4 cancels out. And that's another way to prove that this is the factored version of this expression here.